Part 126. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1251. After all, Zhou Tao didn't completely calm down and said softly, "Happy birthday. Mr. Liu is so easy to be satisfied now. A happy birthday is worth more than someone giving him a mansion and a fancy car." He savored those 4 words lovingly, and when she said them, the feeling was different. "Thanks." After closing the door, Zhou Tao leaned against the door gently, and then shook her head. Ordinary friends can also say happy birthday, so she doesn't have to think too much. The next day, Wen Qiao worked hard at practicing medicine at home. It was raining outside. Wen Qi went into the club again. Together with Gu Xiao, they reorganized a 4-person group. Xiaobai has now become a professional anchor, broadcasting the fight on the live broadcast platform on time every night. Games, occasionally Wen Qi, Gu Xiao and Shen Tian Yuzhan would go to that platform to play with him. Those are world-class champions, so Xiaobai's live broadcast room is so popular that the live broadcast platform even offers him a 7-digit annual salary. Compared to professional players, anchors have much less pressure. Xiaobai lives a happy and relaxed life every day. Number 3 was not afraid of the cold. There was no air conditioning at home, so he sat on the sofa with his upper body bare while Wen Qiao practiced acupuncture. When Fu Nanli came over, Wen Qiao's hand was on No 3's chest. The vinegar brewer named Fu immediately became jealous and coughed lightly when he entered the door. However, Wen Qiao and Number 3 were very indifferent and did not pay attention to him at all. Number 3 even glanced at him. Maybe he was too preoccupied. He always felt that there was a hint of showing off in No 3's eyes. Showing off his closeness to his girlfriend. Fu Nanli closed his eyes and clenched his hands in his trouser pockets, really wanting to dismantle this broken machine. Qiao. Coughing was useless, he could only call her out loud. Wen Qiao didn't even look back. He held a long needle in his hand and said emotionlessly, "Wait for me, there are still a few more needles to finish pricking." Fu Nanli pressed his eyebrows, stood behind her, and whispered, "Let me be your experimental subject from now on, and you can prick me." Quiet, the room was quiet, no one paid any attention to him. Qin Bei was embarrassed for his young master and whispered, "Xiao Wen is busy, wait for her to finish. It's better not to make amends. The young master will lose face even more." He glanced at Qin Bei coldly, and Qin Bei quickly retreated, "I'll wait for you in the car." After saying that, he ran away in a flash. After Wen Qiao inserted the last 2 needles into Number 3, he breathed a sigh of relief, "Sit still and I'll start the needles for you in half an hour." "Okay, it's all up to you." Fu Nanli's forehead was throbbing with veins. "Do you think he was dead?" Wen Qiao went to the yard to wash her hands. Fu Nanli helped her soap and lather her, with a cold face the whole time. Wen Qiao noticed that he was unhappy. "What's wrong?" Fu Nanli glanced at her, "I was talking to you just now, but you ignored me." "What did you say?" She was so engrossed in what she was doing that she didn't really pay attention to what he was saying. "I said let me be your human body teacher from now on, and you can give me needles and do experiments." After speaking, she grabbed his hand and pressed the well pump while helping her make soap bubbles. Wen Qiao snorted, "How can you be a human body teacher? He is a robot. If he doesn't do it well, just ask my uncle to reset the parameters. If he doesn't do it well for you and causes any disease, I will be guilty. That's big." After rinsing her hands, Fu Nanli pulled her into the room, took out a tissue and wiped her hands carefully. "I believe you, you won't make a mistake." Wen Qiao shook his head, "Isn't this adding pressure to me invisibly?" Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1252. Isn't there an invisible standard that restricts you to be careful with every stitch? Wen Qiao, come on, I won't use you as a test subject anyway. Fu Nanli looked at number 3 with eyes full of envy. Why have you been practicing so diligently recently? I thought your medical skills were already very high. After all, he helped him cure his grandfather and grandmother's serious illnesses. The old man now even occasionally asks Wen Qiao to come over, and the old lady dotes on her even more than his grandson. Why do I seem to be encountering a difficult disease again now? The Du family that's engaged in oil, you know that, right? Of course I know. He has a young son who has severe asthma. I didn't learn about this from my uncle before. Respiratory diseases are quite difficult. Recently, my medical system has been slowly improved. Fu Nanli held her hand. It means you will become a general practitioner in the future, right? Traditional Chinese medicine is like this. It's not as clear as surgery. Traditional Chinese medicine doctors can cure all kinds of diseases based on their knowledge and experience. Of course, the premise is that they are serious Chinese medicine doctors and not those Chinese medicine swindlers and charlatans. Fu Nanli looked at her, and his Qiao was shining in one field after another. She had reached a very high level in the field of folk music, and now in the field of traditional Chinese medicine, she would surely become a blockbuster in the future. While they were chatting, number 3 sat quietly with needles inserted into his chest and back. Fu Nanli occasionally glanced at it. Judging from the appearance, this robot was really no different from a human being. Its figure was not worse than him. This Susie was also so busy. He felt that Susie didn't like him being Qiao Er's boyfriend, so he made such a very realistic robot to irritate him. Half an hour later, Wen Qiao started the injection for number 3. Before giving him treatment, Susie implanted an asthma program into number 3, and she would check his recovery after each injection. Fu Nanli truly envied a robot. After confirming that her treatment direction was correct, Wen Qiao breathed a sigh of relief. The treatment went well, and in 2 days she could go to the Du family's house to treat the young master of the Du family. Wen Qiao went out to wash his hands again. As soon as he finished washing his hands, he was pulled directly out of the yard by Fu Nanli. What are you doing? Fu Nanli hugged the man directly. The moonlight was bleak. She was held in the man's arms and she spoke angrily. I haven't seen you for several days, and you didn't look for me. You're staying at my place tonight. There is no woman that Mr. Fu wants, but his little girlfriend is now career-focused and has to solve her own incurable diseases. The focus of her life is entirely on these things. He is like a gay boyfriend, trying hard to gain a sense of presence every day. He carried her out of the alley and happened to meet Susie coming back from the laboratory. This posture made Wen Qiao a little embarrassed, because Fu Nanli was holding her like a child, and she was hanging on Fu Nanli like a koala. She had no choice but to say hello to her uncle. Uncle, you are a little late when you come back. Susie responded calmly, go to him. Have you had dinner? Not yet, go to his place to eat. Susie was wearing a long iron grey coat and stood there, feeling a sense of isolation and coldness coming to his body. Wen Qiao always felt that her uncle was lonely, and she hoped that someone could stay with her. But my uncle's temperament has always been to stay away from strangers. I really don't know when he will be able to have normal human feelings. Go ahead. After saying that, he put his hands in his pockets and passed by them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiaxu. Chapter 1253. Fu Nanli didn't put her down during the whole process. This posture must be very annoying in the eyes of my uncle who has been single for many years. She looked at her brother-in-law's back and murmured softly, "Do you have a suitable girl around you that you can introduce to my brother-in-law?" Shen Ning seemed to want to learn from her uncle more, and her background was a little unclear. She was also a little worried, so she had better find someone suitable for her uncle. A nobleman like Fu Nanli must know many people. Fu Nanli gently put the person into the car, followed closely and sat next to her, squinting at her. "Do you think there is a girl around me? Is there anyone else besides you?" Wen Qiao sighed and seemed to do the same. Then let Fu Cheng pay more attention. He knows many people. Fu Cheng is now very promiscuous, like a butterfly. Every now and then, he is either rumored to be having an affair with a female star, or he is photographed by the paparazzi with a socialite. Probably because he was holding back his energy to engage in a business war with his brother a few years ago, which made him depressed. Now that he has shown his cards and reconciled, he needs to make up for the overdrawn energy. It's quite cool. Fu Nanli pinched her face. "Okay, I told her that you are quite worried about your brother-in-law." Wen Qiao spent time with Fu Nanli on weekends, and Fu Nanli also took her on a trip to the Alps, where she skied and played golf. Didn't come back until Monday night. Wen Qiao and the others are also seniors and have no classes anymore. They are all preparing for their graduation thesis. Moreover, she does not have to worry about finding a job, so she has a lot of free time. On Friday, Du Hongsheng and his wife invited her to have dinner at the Du family mansion. Young Master Fu also went with him. Du Hongsheng never expected that a distinguished guest would come, so he welcomed Fu Nanli with great fanfare. In the luxurious Baroque-style dining room, the Du family of four sat down at the long dining table. In addition to Du Boyan, a son, the couple also has a daughter, who is also going to college this year. Du Boyan is a pale and handsome boy with a somewhat melancholic temperament. Because he has been ill all year round, he cannot go to crowded places and can only be raised in a big house. He has no contact with many peers, so he will definitely not be in a good mood. Du Boyan walked up to Wen Qiao and said shyly, "Thank you, sister, for saving my life last time." The boy met Wen Qiao's eyes. Seeing his sensible and well-behaved appearance, you felt a little distressed. He touched his soft hair and said, "I will give you acupuncture tonight. From now on, I will come once a week for about half a year. I can't guarantee recovery, but I can allow you to go to school and participate in group activities like normal people." The boy's eyes suddenly sparkled with hope. "Sister, is it true? Is it true?" God knows how much he longs to live an ordinary life. He simply goes to the playground to run 2 laps, just plays his favorite football, and just goes to the playground to take a look at his favorite projects. These were all for him before. It's a luxury. Can it really be realized in the future? Mrs. Du burst into tears and grabbed Wen Qiao's hand. "Miss Wen, are you telling the truth? Can we Boyan really live like normal people?" Wen Qiao nodded cautiously. "I have already tested it on an artificial intelligence robot. There will be no problem." Mrs. Du almost knelt down in front of Wen Qiao. Over the years, they had visited famous doctors. Only she knew how much they had suffered and how many tears they had shed. Now that Xiao Wen suddenly found a good cure, they were so happy that they almost went crazy. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1254. The corners of Du Ongshen's eyes were also moist, and he said solemnly, "Miss Wen, if you can really cure our Boyan, no matter what you ask for, we will satisfy you at all costs." Wen Qiao smiled and was not polite. She did not open a charity hall to do charity. It was good for her to have such connections. There was no need to pretend to be aloof. The group of people took their seats. Although Du Boyan was born in a famous family and was loved and cared for by his parents and sisters, he was well educated and asked Wen Qiao and Fu Nanli to sit down. Sister, sit down. Uncle, please sit down too. Uncle. Fu Nanli was hit hard and his face turned blue. Du Hongsheng grabbed his youngest son and whispered a few words, "Call me brother." Who doesn't know that young Master Fu and the Xiao Wen are lovers, and they have a deep love for each other. Young Master Fu is extremely in love with her. One calls her sister and the other uncle. Doesn't that make young Master Fu unable to step down? If Du Hongsheng said it, Du Boyan would look at Fu Nanli with a puzzled expression, and Fu Nanli would feel depressed with that confused look. Brother. Du Boyan also knew how to deal with the world. After his father said this, he had to call him brother. It's really better not to call him brother. This call of brother is awkward. Fu Nanli's own nephew Shen Tian is almost 20 years old. He is really uncomfortable having an 8 or 9-year-old child call him brother. Just call me Mr. Fu. Du Boyan was relieved. Okay, Mr. Fu. The dinner was quite pleasant. Mrs. Du was very attentive, helped Wen Qiao get drinks, chatted with Wen Qiao about everyday things, and even mentioned Wen Jianmin, saying that Wen Jianmin was really unkind and had no vision. They all spoke towards Wen Qiao's preferences and complimented her to the fullest. After dinner was over, Du Viang, the eldest daughter of the Du family, answered a video call and walked aside. Sister Lin Lang is calling, I'll answer it. Wen Qiao paused while holding the chopsticks, his expression very subtle. Lin Lang is Miss Du's sister? What sister? Before she treated Du Boyan, she really didn't know that Lin Lang was related to the Du family. It was a coincidence. Du Viang was sitting on the sofa in the side hall chatting with Lin Lang. Their voices reached the dining room, and Wen Qiao roughly figured out the relationship between them. It turns out that Lin Lang's mother and Mrs. Du are biological sisters, and Lin Lang is Du Viang's cousin. Moreover, Lin Lang and the Du family seem to have a close relationship. Wen Qiao raised his eyes, and this matter seemed to have turned around. After they finished chatting, Wen Qiao whispered to Fu Nanli, "You talk to Mr. Du and the others, and I will take Boyan upstairs to perform acupuncture on him." Fu Nanli held her hand. "Don't you want me to accompany you?" Wen Qiao chuckled, "What can you do with me? Be your assistant. I can't afford such an expensive assistant. I'm just kidding. I don't need any help. I think Mr. Du has a lot to talk to you about. You can stay on the first floor. Both of them are business tycoons, let them chat, maybe there will be some business cooperation." Wen Qiao took Du Boyan and Du Viang upstairs. In Du Boyan's room, Wen Qiaorang began to give him acupuncture. Du Viang also loved his brother and watched the whole process with worried eyes. Wen Qiao chatted with her casually, "I think you were chatting with Lin Lang just now, right?" "Yes, Lin Lang is my cousin. She is very popular and her acting is very good. I have watched a few of her movies and her acting is really good. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1255. Du Viang smiled with pride, "That's not true. My cousin really suffered a lot for these roles. How to say? She pays great attention to health. She never eats unhealthy food. When she is not filming, she never leaves the house. She has a very regular schedule and is an extremely self-disciplined person. We all admire her." Wen Qiao gently inserted a needle into Du Boyan's skin. "She is so self-disciplined, she must be in good health. Physical? She should be in good condition. It seems that she has never had any headaches or fever in so many years. She eats healthily, pays attention to exercise, and has a mysophobia. It is difficult for such a person to get sick." Wen Qiao smiled, "That's true. Good health is very important. Being an actor without a good body is useless." After the last needle was inserted, Wen Qiao washed his hands and sat on the carpet in front of the sofa with Du Viang to chat. But my cousin was a little strange a few years ago. Wen Qiao became interested. Strange? What's so strange? Du Viang frowned. Once she went to Thailand for vacation. After she came back, she promoted a very important drama. The heroine of that drama later won the Best Actress trophy. It is really a very good resource. It's a pity for her. Not only did she recommend this drama, she also went to her vacation villa in the West and lived alone for half a year. Alone? You didn't go to visit her? Her family wasn't around either. Of course I went to see her, but even when I arrived at her villa, she didn't see me. She said she was sick and was afraid of infecting me, and then I left. Wen Qiao was a little confused. What was going on? What kind of disease requires you to stay away from the world for half a year? Not even your closest family members and relatives? Then did she say what illness she had? Du Viang shook his head. She didn't say, but I suspect. Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. What do you suspect? Du Viang hesitated to speak. Forget it, it seems not good for me to talk about my cousin behind her back like this. It's too unkind. She didn't want to say that if Wen Qiao was too inquisitive and seemed to have impure motives, she didn't ask further questions. Half an hour later, he helped Du Boyan get the injection, and then wrote another prescription. Ask your parents to go to the Chinese medicine pharmacy to get medicine, and drink 1 dose every day, don't stop. Du Viang was grateful. Thank you so much. If you cure my brother, I can give you anything. Wen Qiao was a little touched. Although Du Boyan was in poor health, his family loved and cared for him, which was another kind of compensation. When they left the Du family, the whole family stood at the door to see them off, which was the highest courtesy. Seeing Wen Qiao frowning, Fu Nanli pressed her eyebrows. What are you thinking about? Wen Qiao said nothing, took out his cell phone and searched for news about Lin Lang online. She was in Group 8, and the people there were always venomous, but sometimes they looked at things in a unique way. She searched Lin Lang's name, and the most popular post with the most replies was about Lin Lang's plastic surgery. 5 years ago, Lin Lang suddenly disappeared from the industry for half a year. He even promoted a movie by the great director Chu Qinju. This poster speculated that Lin Lang hid because he went abroad for plastic surgery and needed a recovery period. Half a year. She scrolled down, and the post contained detailed comparison pictures. Although it's not a drastic facelift, it does have some minor tweaks. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1256. The corners of my eyes are opened, my nose is straighter, my nose is narrower, my chin is more shapely and refined, and most importantly, my eyes have changed a lot. Wen Qiao leaned back in his chair and handed his phone to Fu Nanli to look at. Do you think plastic surgery can change a person's eyes a lot? Fu Nanli is very experienced when talking about crude oil futures, but when it comes to gossiping about plastic surgery in the entertainment industry, he is really at a loss for words. Have you had plastic surgery? Wen Qiao lay on his shoulder and swiped the photos. Can't you see? Fu Nanli identified it carefully. It seems to be about the same. It turns out that straight men really can't recognize her, which shows that she was successful in the treatment. What about your eyes? Fu Nanli identified it more carefully. Well, the eyes are a little different. He seemed more cowardly before, but now he seems more determined. Wen Qiao clapped his hands. You think so too, don't you? Yes. Wen Qiao continued to slide down. It seemed that she was not the only one who felt this way. Netizens said that Lin Lang not only improved his appearance, but also his acting skills. She used to be unremarkable in acting, she was meek, and the TV series she acted were lukewarm. Until 5 years ago, after undergoing plastic surgery and retiring for half a year, she came out as if she was a different person. Both the film and the film were well received and box office hits. After that, she won the title of Best Actress, and now she is definitely a first-line female star in the industry. The status is above Zhou Dao Tongwei. Wen Qiao scrolled through her phone boredly. So why isn't she willing to donate blood to me? Is it true that people who have had plastic surgery can't donate blood easily? Is there such a thing? Fu Nanli, I haven't had plastic surgery, so I'm not sure if there is such a statement. Wen Qiao raised his head and glanced at him. He was truly loved by the creator. His facial features were so exquisite that no one else could achieve his handsomeness even if they were reshaped. Wen Qiao lost his phone and was a little irritated. Forget it, let me know more about it later. Then he said, huh? I saw that it was said that Chu Qinju was originally going to play the role in the movie but he didn't, so maybe Chu Qinju also knows a little about Lin Lang. The next day, Director Chu was called over to answer Wen Qiao's questions at the Xiaotangshan Club. Director Chu is a very busy person, but when his cousin gives an order, no matter how powerful he is outside, he dare not disobey. Wen Qiao ground the coffee himself and served it to Chu Qinju sincerely. I want to get to know Lin Lang. Chu Qinju took a sip. It tasted good and she was in a good mood. Why are you suddenly interested in her? Do you want to recruit her to join your company? She seems to have opened her own studio. With her status, it is easy for her not to be affiliated with an economic company. At most, you should set up a business company, so don't waste your time. Do you know her? Chu Qinju raised her eyebrows. In general, the movie 5 years ago also had the capital to promote her. I didn't want her to join the cast at that time, but I couldn't save face. Have you been in contact with her? Well, when I got in touch with her, I found that she had no aura, she was dull, and her qualifications were mediocre. Fortunately, she resigned from acting at that time. Unexpectedly, after half a year of retirement, she seemed to be a different person, and her acting skills had improved. Leap. You are in the circle. Have you ever heard that people who undergo plastic surgery cannot donate blood? Will it cause great harm to the body? Chu Qinju frowned slightly. Is there such a statement? Today's celebrities, whether they are male or female, have undergone plastic surgery and fine-tuning. However, several artists in Wen Qiao's company are pure, and the actors and actresses are all natural and untouched. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1257. Therefore, as a big director in the industry, Chu Qinju must have come into contact with a lot of plastic surgery stars. Isn't there such a statement? Why don't you ask for me? Chu Qinju made a phone call. He asked very harshly, which made the other party very embarrassed. She originally claimed that she had not had plastic surgery, but Director Chu asked the same question, and it was difficult to lie, so he had to force himself. Answered with caution. After hanging up the phone, Chu Qinju said, no, plastic surgery and blood donation do not conflict. Wen Qiao was puzzled again. Then why did Lin Lang feel as if he was facing a powerful enemy when he heard she wanted blood? Is it really because she loves herself too much? Listening to Du Viang's words, she is a person who is extremely self-disciplined and loves her body extremely. This statement is not impossible. Wen Qiao sighed and reached an impasse again. Lin Lang's case was the most difficult to solve so far. After all, the two previous parties had clearly made demands. As long as the other party was satisfied, the other party could barter with her. Queen Lin lacks nothing and wants nothing, which is a bit fatal. Fu Nanli said, I'll go negotiate with her. Wen Qiao glanced at him. What can you do? Is it coercion or inducement? Try them all. If she doesn't donate, then ban her. The young master said it very seriously, not as a joke. Wen Qiao had a headache. Master, don't cause trouble for me, okay? It's really the thoughts of a superior person that make people very sad. Fu Nanli has never met such a stubborn person. 600 milliliters of blood can be replenished in 2 meals. He is willing to spend a huge sum of money to buy her 600 milliliters of blood for their Qiao. No matter what, no loss. Wen Qiao was carried back to his private room in Xiaotangshan by her man. Wen Qiao mentioned her brother-in-law, he is also quite young. If we don't find a partner, I'm afraid he will die alone. Fu Nanli's slender fingers pinched her waist. Are you young? Well, she forgot that her brother-in-law was the same age as Fu Nanli. If she said that her brother-in-law was not young, that meant that the young master was not young. She paused in a playful tone. Do you think you are still young? Fu Nanli carried her into the bathroom. Are there any other topics to talk about when you are with me? Wen Qiao wanted to speak, but the man blocked her mouth. She paid the price for her willfulness. The price is to be sore all over. On weekends, Wen Qiao went to give acupuncture to the young master of the Du family. The Du family treated her with extreme courtesy and treated her as a distinguished guest. Every time she went there, she felt that she was not going to practice medicine, but to attend a Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony. Fortunately, Du Hongsheng and his wife knew that there was a generation gap between them and they could not go together. When she gave Du Boyan acupuncture, they would not stand around and watch, so as not to cause pressure to her. Wen Qiao stopped Du Viang and asked her to help her. Du Viang was very excited. Sister Wen, do you think I am particularly talented, so you let me be your assistant? She was asked to stay last time, and this time too. She must be talented in this area and was taken aback by Sister Wen. Wen Qiao. Actually, sister, you misunderstood, I just want to get some gossip about your cousin from you. But looking at the girl's sincere eyes, Wen Qiao couldn't bear to tell the truth, and smiled lightly. Well, you are indeed talented. If you want to learn, I can teach you some theories, and you can give them to your brother at home in the future. Have a look. Du Viang suddenly became very motivated. Then I'm so honored. I want to post on Weibo and in my circle of friends. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1258. While giving Du Boyan acupuncture, Wen Qiao said, actually, I am a fan of your cousin's movie. After Du Viang made a friend's circle, she handed Wen Qiao the needle in a polite manner. I am also a fan of hers. All the works she has made in the past few years are really high quality. I admire my sister so much. Then next time we can go out to have a meal together and call your cousin. Du Viang said obediently, okay, okay. Du Boyan spoke much less and sat obediently on the sofa. There was some pain during the acupuncture. There were beads of sweat on his forehead, and his sister wiped the sweat for him very carefully. It's quite a brother-sister relationship. Downstairs, an uninvited guest came. Zhang Min came to see Du Hongsheng with a gift. The Du family and the Zhang family were on good terms, and Du Hongsheng and Mrs. Du were both very polite to her. Of course Zhang Min came here because she was drunk and not interested in drinking. She heard that Wen Qiao came to treat Du Boyan again, and thought that she might be able to witness Wen Qiao's mistake. She felt from the bottom of her heart that Wen Qiao was not a charlatan, but a liar, and that Uncle Du let Wen Qiao go because he was really desperate and treated a living horse as a dead horse. Uncle Du, how is Boyan? Speaking of this, Du Hongsheng immediately said happily, this little Dr. Wen is really superb in medical skills. She only gave Boyan acupuncture once and prescribed medicine. He drank medicine according to her prescription every day for a week. The improvement of Beyond Soft is simply visible to the naked eye. Jiangmin's smile froze on her face, and she said uncomfortably, "Yes, is it?" Mrs. Du also said, "It's true. I was still dubious at first, but now I'm really reassured." Xiao Wen said that she will make Boyan the same as a normal child for up to 6 months. By then Boyan can go to school. It seems that my years of burning incense really moved God and finally sent us a savior. The way these two regarded Wen Qiao as their savior simply made Jiangmin go crazy with jealousy. It is impossible for a little liar like Wen Qiao to really have such superb medical skills. It is impossible for a person to be proficient in musical instruments and a computer expert, and also have superb medical skills to treat illnesses and save people. She just took advantage of Uncle Du and his wife's eagerness to love their son and took advantage of the loopholes. As time went by, the flaw would eventually be exposed. She was waiting for this day. There was movement upstairs. It was Wen Qiao who had finished acupuncture and brought Boyan and Viang downstairs. The siblings, one on each side, were talking and laughing with Wen Qiao, their eyes full of admiration. Jiangmin felt disdainful and unwilling. These two siblings are usually the eldest lady and young master. The Zhang family is still lower than the Du family, so she usually tries to please the two siblings. Seeing them pursuing Wen Qiao like this, the string of jealousy in her heart almost broke. What made her even more devastated was that Wen Qiao didn't even notice that she was there. He didn't even glance at her or say hello to her. Today's treatment went very well. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. I'll say hello in advance when you come over next week. Du Boyan grabbed her hand. "Sister Wen, can you come here often? Young Master Du has lived in pain for so many years, and now it is as if he has suddenly encountered a life-saving straw. He wishes Wen Qiao could live in their house every day. It's a pity that Wen Qiao can't become the family doctor of their Du family." "Okay, I will come over to see you whenever I have time." Wen Qiao touched his head with full affection. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1259. Seeing that she was being left out, Jiangmin took the initiative and said, "Uncle Du, do you want to ask a professional doctor to check on Boyan's condition at any time, just in case?" She hesitated to speak, clearly distrusting Wen Qiao's medical skills. Wen Qiao is now Du Boyan's idol. No one can doubt that he is an idol. He said mercilessly, "I don't need other doctors to see me. I only want Sister Wen to see me." Du Viang also tried his best to defend Wen Qiao. "What do you mean by hiring a professional doctor? Sister Min, do you mean that Sister Wen is not a professional doctor?" Jiangmin almost couldn't help but roll her eyes. Wen Qiao was not a professional doctor in the first place, so why should she say so? Is everyone in this family losing their minds? But she couldn't say it clearly yet, so she could only say tactfully, "That's not what I meant, but Wen Qiao is studying music after all, and her medical skills are just a few superficial things she learned in her free time. With more professional doctors to check her skills, wouldn't she be able to do it? Are you more reassured?" She thought this was reasonable. She just doubted Wen Qiao. Isn't Wen Qiao worthy of doubt? I really don't know if this family has been kicked in the head by a donkey, for they believe so wholeheartedly in a doctor who has become a monk by the wayside. Du Hongsheng was not as young and energetic as the children, and said kindly, "Xiaomin, I know you are worried about Boyan's health, but although Xiao Wen has never gone to medical school to study, her teacher is a world-renowned doctor. Professor Su has taught her all the medical skills. We are very worried about Xiao Wen. Xiaomin, you don't have to worry, eh?" No matter how unwilling Jiangmin was, she had already talked about this. If she had any objections, it would be a bit malicious. And throughout the whole process, Wen Qiao didn't even look at her, as if she was a transparent person and not worthy of attention, which made her heart hurt with anger. Well, what Uncle Du said is, hey, I also care about things and get confused. I hope Dr. Wen won't blame me for talking too much. Wen Qiao was turning her head to talk to Du Viang. She really didn't notice Zhang Min talking to her, so she naturally ignored him. Zhang Min's face was livid. Wen Qiao did this on purpose. Who the hell is she? He keeps neglecting her like this. She said sarcastically, although Dr. Wen can cure diseases and save people, there is no need to be so condescending. Only then did Wen Qiao hear her voice, but he just nodded distantly. It was a female student who she had interviewed, and she didn't have much friendship with her. She just nodded her head and thought it was a good fit. But in Zhang Min's eyes, Wen Qiao had a high opinion of himself and looked down on her. Zhang Min was furious. Wen Qiao looked down on her? What right did she have to look down on her? Still wanting to speak, Du Viang said, Sister Wen, I'll take you out. Du Boyan also wanted to send it off, and Wen Qiao pressed his shoulder, it's windy outside, so don't go out. Du Boyan reluctantly sent her to the door. As for Zhang Min, there was no one interested in her. She was so angry that she secretly vowed that she would find a doctor who was better than Wen Qiao and could cure Du Boyan's disease. When the time came, he would replace her and let the Du family wake up. To cure Boyan, Wen Qiao alone will definitely not be enough. Du Viang acted very quickly. Within a few days, she sent a message to Wen Qiao, saying that she had made an appointment with her cousin for dinner. Set at a French restaurant. Wen Qiao had asked Du Viang not to mention her name. She knew that once she was mentioned, Lin Lang would not come. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1260. The French restaurant in the city has a large courtyard with excellent privacy. Their dining table is on the second floor with semi-partitioned seats. Even though it is November in Haikan, the courtyard outside the window is still full of people. The vegetation is lush, and the branches and leaves of camphor emit a fresh light under the neon light. Wen Qiao stepped on the stairs and climbed to the second floor step by step. When he appeared in front of Lin Lang, Lin Yinghao's face suddenly darkened, visible to the naked eye. Are you following me? What's the difference between you and an illegitimate child? Be careful, I send you a lawyer's letter. Du Viang suddenly became nervous. Sister, I asked Sister Wen to come here. Sister Wen, Lin Lang's eyes flashed coldly, and he was on high alert. Du Viang held her hand. Yes, Sister Wen is helping our Boyan treat his illness. She can cure Boyan's asthma, and Sister Wen happens to be a fan of yours, so I made an appointment for this meal. Let her see you. Lin Lang's face turned pale. Then why didn't you tell me beforehand that there was someone else? If she knew Wen Qiao would come, there was absolutely no way she would come. Du Viang said coquettishly, oh, I want to give you a surprise. She is Nan Qiao's boss. Maybe you can cooperate. Wen Qiao sat down and smiled slightly. Wei Yang is right, I just admire Queen Lin's acting skills. Lin Lang's expression was very strange. He couldn't get angry in front of Du Viang. He glanced at Wen Qiao with complicated eyes, then eat quickly. I have something to do after eating. Wen Qiao, okay. The three of them sat facing each other, and the atmosphere was very delicate. The waiter brought the steak and red wine and quickly left. While cutting the steak, Wen Qiao asked casually, Queen Lin's acting skills have really improved by leaps and bounds in the past few years. Lin Lang paused slightly while cutting the steak, but remained silent. Wen Qiao added, I don't know if you found a famous teacher for guidance or something. Lin Lang raised his eyes and glanced at her indifferently. What? Do you have any questions? As an actor, she can't improve her acting skills? Can't she get better? Wen Qiao smiled lightly, "You misunderstood, I didn't mean that." Lin Lang's attitude was obviously impatient, and Du Viang was a little embarrassed to be caught in the middle. He whispered, "Sister, please give me some face. Don't make such a face. Our family all likes Sister Wen." Lin Lang's eyes wandered suspiciously around Wen Qiao. Wen Qiao wasn't very aggressive, he just observed Lin Lang casually. One thing she discovered was that Lin Lang seemed to have been forced to change from left-handed to right-handed, because she subconsciously used her left hand to pick up things, and then switched to her right hand. You couldn't tell anything unless you looked carefully. But Wen Qiao has always been very observant and caught this subtle difference instantly. At the dinner table, she mainly talked about some gossip, which did not make Lin Lang feel oppressed or uncomfortable. Until the dinner was over, Lin Lang couldn't wait to pull Du Viang out. Du Viang whispered, "Sister, why are you in such a hurry?" She turned around and nodded apologetically to Wen Qiao. Wen Qiao smiled and waved her hand. Du Viang was pulled into the car by Lin Lang. "This Wen Qiao has bad intentions." Du Viang was a little unhappy. "Sister, what are you talking about?" Lin Lang looked gloomy. "She came to me before and asked me to donate blood to her. She asked for 600 milliliters. Du Viang was a little confused. When did she treat Boyan?" "Just 2 weeks ago."